Hello guys, welcome back to this channel. Today we're reviewing Rocky Balboa, the sixth film in the Rocky franchise, an apology letter to Rocky 5 because of its sheer badness. Okay, I'm over-exaggerating, it's not that bad. But not much else to say, but go check my Rocky playlist and let's get started. Let's start off with the minifig review. Here right now we have Tobias Beckett. Whoops. Okay, I built a new stand because I was in Michigan over the weekend and I forgot to put the alt stand, so it's just a simple stand. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, it's just simple. Connected here. So he has a nice. This is Tobias Beckett. Got him from the Marauder sets. I don't know what it's called. The speeder bikes and the little train in the coaxium. So here, I might just do it like this. So he has a. I really do like this figure. Really nice hairpiece. I don't know what it is, but it's really cool. Nice little silver blasters. Or is that gray? No, it's silver. Really love his chest printing. I would have done nice maybe for like a cape, kind of like more like Lando's. I would have not done like, but I wish the printing on the leg was a little different, but it's still pretty cool. Wish there was some printing on the side, but I'm fine with it. I wish, and there's not really any printing on the back, but honestly, this is a cool figure. I do like him, and he has a nice. I think he has an alternate expression. Let's take that off. Oh, no, he doesn't. I thought he did. Okay, so this is a cool figure. These do not look like hands. These look like gloves. Weird looking gloves for the hand piece right there. So, I mean, cool figure. Don't love him, but he's pretty cool. I love the Gray Blaster. Let's start with what the movie is about. And this movie is about kind of Rocky at a much older age, kind of trying to fight again. And you guys seem to go through a bunch of stuff throughout, like the first couple Rocky films, as well as some of the later ones. Specifically, most of the original one, you meet that girl from the original one that said, "Get lost." Whatever. And then you kind of go through a lot of that stuff. That was really nice stuff, honestly. That's a lot of the stuff I really like about the movie. And he's still trying to fight again, this kind of program sort of thing. I don't know exactly what it is. But, yeah. But he's fighting at a much older age. He's in his 60s. And you kind of see him have a little reflect on life, positive outlook. See Tommy is much better. Not Tommy, Robert. I mixed them up. Robert Balboa. He's much better in this movie than he was back in Rocky 5, and yeah, huge plus. And honestly, I really did enjoy a lot of that stuff. So let's move on. Now you have the good, and starting out the good. Oh, I just realized my poster is still there. Oh, I need to fix it. Anyway, nice. Starting out the good, you have Stallone. I think Stallone, this may be his best performance as Rocky Balboa, and you kind of see a lot of that stuff, like him doing the drama again, reflecting on his past, does it nicely, kind of having a positive outlook on life. Really liked all of that stuff, specifically his performance as Rocky Balboa. I kind of like how he kind of never gets mad, really. Like, I mean, he does it, like, at his son specifically. It was kind of funny to see that in Rocky 5, and one of the positives of that movie. And it's also pretty fun to see it in this movie, too. And I really liked all of that stuff. And in general, I really like Stallone. I mean, this is probably his best performance of all time. Maybe behind just the original Rocky, but still, does such a great job in this movie. Then you have the character drama. All the character drama really works. There's not much of it, but specifically between Rocky and his son, that really works for me, and it's paid off really well in Creed 2. I'll tell you about that when I get to Creed 2 review. I promised the movie, but that scene was awesome at the end. And honestly, I really liked all of that stuff. The way kind of interacts with the son and all that stuff. Seeing some characters from the first Rocky and a couple of the other films. Seeing a lot of that stuff. Getting a dog, having a couple trainers. Also with the fighting. That part didn't work about the movie, but I'll talk about that later. And overall, just the character drama really works for me. Then you have the character moments. A lot of this movie in the characters themselves. And a lot of this movie kind of revolves around the drama and the characters and kind of how Rocky's at his phase of life. So I'll talk about all those three things. So character moments, specifically with Rocky, and love Duke's speech before the training montage. Love that. And you kind of see him, kind of Rocky, just see him grow up. Like, I think it works really nicely as kind of a middle chapter from the Rocky movies and then into the Creed movies. Like, I wouldn't have liked to go from Rocky 5 to the Creed films. This works as a nice middle chapter between them, and that's really nice, to be honest. And honestly, seeing Rocky at his phase of his life where he's lost Adrian because of cancer, Polly is retiring, and he's still in great shape, really works for me. Kind of seeing him at this like older phase of his life, I mentioned it really works for me. That's one of the best parts of the film. And honestly, some of the character moments really work. The characters themselves overall, like even that lady from the first film, really had not really nice character arc. It's not really a character arc. You kind of see her do a bunch of stuff and do that, and then really you haven't really seen Rocky at his home life when he's not fighting. I guess you kind of got that in Rocky 5, but not very well. And this movie did it not perfectly necessarily, but did it really well. And you kind of got to see that and really worked for me. Now you have the mixed stuff, and starting out the mixed stuff, you have the final fight. Yeah. It's just a final fight that's just average to me. It's not bad necessarily, but my problems with it are like just a black and white. No, that didn't work for me. And kind of the callbacks to like the earlier Rocky movies, I guess that works well enough. Not as well as it kind of thinks it does. Not as well as like some other final fights do, specifically Rocky 2. And it doesn't have any of the emotion that those movies had. Even something like Rocky 3, and maybe not Rocky 3, but even Rocky 4 has more emotion than this. So I'm like, okay, that was your final fight. And Mason Dixon isn't a good villain, so doesn't really work for this final fight. And although it's kind of cool to see Rocky fight in an older age, that's kind of the whatchamacallit, the like upsides to it, I guess, or some of the pros, I guess, but the cons outweigh the pros, and it's not the best final fight ever. And I think it's probably one of the weaker ones in the franchise. Well, it is one of the weaker ones, mostly because Mason Dixon isn't exactly like a very good villain, and that definitely has something to do with it. So yeah, the final fight doesn't really work for me. Then you have the bad, and starting out the bad, well, the only thing the bad is the villain, Mason Dixon. Probably the worst in the franchise. I think it's a little better than Tommy Gunn, but not by much. The problem here is that at least Tommy Gunn, he doesn't, at least you kind of feel like he just serves his purpose. Mason Dixon, you try to feel like you're kind of rooting for him. The movie makes you do it, but you just don't. Really, I don't like either of them. The last two Rocky villains are the two worst ones, and it does hamper the film quite a bit. I think the problem is that compared to like people like Clubber Lang, Ivan Drago, and even Apollo Creed from the first two films, Mason Dixon and Tommy Gunn are just such a drop off. It's kind of hilarious. You see him laughing right now. Why so serious? These videos should not be serious. Okay, I'll stop with the Joker lines.
Ha, ha, ooh, he, ha, ha. And I thought my jokes were bad.
So overall, I really do enjoy this film, and honestly, like, I just enjoy a lot of the stuff. But Mason Dixon is not one of them. He's kind of a dick. He should be called Mason Dickson. Get it?
And I thought my jokes were bad.
But overall, I don't really care for him, but overall, the boxing element in general of this film, in general, I kind of want to talk about this. The boxing element is kind of just lost here. It doesn't work, really, and that's a problem, because a Rocky film is kind of built around boxing, and Rocky doing the boxing stuff, and this film doesn't really have that. Like, this movie, I think a lot of the upsides are not with the final fight and that kind of stuff. It works with the drama, with the characters. Like, a Rocky film has to have good boxing and good drama. If it doesn't have that, any of those, it's going to fail. Like, this one has one of those, but not the other. And it kind of hurts the film. And I wish it mixed both of them. But it is a nice return to form, and the training montage is pretty good. This movie's final score, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I really do like it. I actually really like this movie. But I think a lot of the problems involve the boxing elements and Mason Dixon, and honestly, but the good outweighs the bad. I really do like this movie. It's a really nice change of pace after Rocky 5, and some other ones. And overall, I think it's a great movie. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. And I'll see you guys the next time. Adios.